Good morning, everyone. Hi, Cal. Hi, Chandni. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Surya.
Hi, Surya. Morning, Surya.
How are you guys doing today? So,
Yeah, good.
A bit cold, but other than that, great.
yeah, it's. I think it's been relatively cold over the last week, but I'd like to welcome everybody who's in the audience who joined in today. I appreciate everyone for taking out the time from your busy calendar to join our webinar series event. So we are essentially doing a webinar every Tuesday and every Thursday for the next 4 weeks. So you would see that you would get the links and everything else for these sessions, and we cover one topic in absolute detail in every single week as we go along. So today we'll be doing MyAdmin. You'll see us covering practice management this Thursday, time and fees next Tuesday, and so on. So you should have seen the emails where we've covered this in detail. But yeah. So before we get started, we have a bunch of polls for everyone, and what we'll be doing is we'll be running those polls, so we have a sort of an idea on which areas to cover the webinar. So without further delay, I'll post the first question out for everyone. Do let us know if you can see it. There's also a chat button. If you could just say hi in the chat, if you could hear us fine, and we'll begin. Let me 1 second. Brilliant. I think everybody can hear us, I guess. So hi,
Yeah.
Safraz. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Brendan. Hi, Neeraj. Hi, James. Hi, Sharon. So let's begin. So this is going to be sort of like we have combined all the people who have signed up for KPM since like August. So sort of like a refresher for some, first onboarding for some others. You still have your account managers here. So we are being joined by Cal, who Chandni, Neeraj, or Charlotte, who might be your account managers. And if you have any queries or any specific questions which were not addressed in today's session, you can always reach out to your onboarding managers. On top of that, if you also have your data migration or any of the other queries, you could again run this through us, and we'll do our best to help you through them. So I'll begin by going into the first poll. This essentially helps us to find out how many clients you have. If it's anonymous, guys. So if you can put it down, it can't be sort of like tracked back to you how many customers you have. But that survey sort of helps us to see the sort of clients you're dealing with and helps us tailor the session. So that would be great. So as you go along, please answer these questions. That would come in handy. Uh, I'll also be sorting out the next question, but based on the answers we've been receiving in there, it seems like we are starting in a range between, I'd say, there's new starting firms in there as well as some well-established firms. So we have several ways of importing things, which Cal will go into a lot of detail. But what is your strategy in terms of uploading your clients? So the first thing to think about is, do you want to add them individually? Because if you're running two systems in parallel, you might be running them individually, and you might be importing things one at a time. But if there is a certain time frame that you have left on your previous vendor, or if you're just starting out fresh and or acquired a new firm, or any of the other cases, you might just want to do them in bulk. So if you were to choose between bulk or one client upload, how would you prefer it in your case? So that again is a specific practice question, so there is a lot of bulk in there. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll be covering both of those as we go along as well. I'll be launching a few other polls as we go along. So Cal, would you like to take over the session and start off with the client and the contact setup, and we can ask the other queries. Take an intermission in between.
No problem. So I'm just going to start the webinar series with the first step before you can even start utilizing KPM, which is the MyAdmin section, essentially the settings area. Give me one moment. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yeah. While we're sharing screen, guys, you'll notice that we'll all turn our cameras off so you can see the screen a bit better. And if you're having any issues with your screen share, just message me in the chat and we can help you solve that out as well. So we'll all turn our cameras off for now, and we'll come back in when we're doing the next set of questions. So yeah, over to you, Cal.
Amazing. Thank you. Hopefully you all can see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. Amazing. Fantastic. So before you can even start utilizing KPM, it is very important that you set yourselves up correctly, as well as your clients and your contacts. Now, one of the first things that you'd have to do here is go into the My Firm section. You'll have the My Firm details on the side there. Click this pen icon and then add in your firm details. So things that you can add here for your practice is your client ID, name, email, addresses, your website, book start dates, year-end dates, UTR numbers. If you're VAT registered, add that as well. And then most importantly, add in your company logo here as well. Once that's done, you can then go ahead and click save. Once that section is done, you need to go into agent credentials here and add in your authorization codes / agent credentials. These areas here would be placed there by default. To add your agent credentials, just click onto the status area here, these three buttons, click edit, and add in your user ID as well as your password, and then click save. So once you've added your details, so you've added your firm details, you've added your agent credentials, you can then start adding your clients. Now for clients, you've got two options. One option is to add in your clients individually by clicking new client, add the client ID, select the client type from the drop-down list here, add their name, add their email addresses. So you've got two email addresses that you can add here, add their actual addresses. You've got three options, either registered office address, trading address, or an overseas address. If they've got a company website, add in their website, book start dates, year ends, registration numbers, UTR, VAT. If they're VAT registered, add their VAT schemes here, and go ahead and click save. Now that's one way of adding your clients. The second way to add in your clients is to bulk import them. So you need to go into import clients section here and download the CSV template. In that template, these are all the fields that you have to fill in. Now, I know it says only these three fields are required, but we suggest to fill in as much data as you can because you still have to come in and add in that data regardless when you do their accounts and so on. So download the CSV file. So you have two files. One is from here, and the other one is a second file that we will send to you when you start your onboarding journey with us. The second file that we send is a data validation file, and it looks something like this. In this area here, it will tell you, it will show you what you can and can't add for each section, for each of the columns. Once that's done, you add in all of your data into this area here. You copy the data from this section and then go back into the first file and paste your files, paste the data from the second file to the first file, and then upload the data into KPM. So if I just show you quickly what that looks like, let's assume I've downloaded the CSV template. I validated the data from the validation sheet. I've added the data into the same template, gone back into KPM. Let me just upload the data. Once that's done, click next. So essentially what it's doing here is just validating the data and making sure you've got your data in the correct format. And as you can see here, the majority of my data is correct apart from the client IDs. You can then go ahead and fix this. So you could either go back into the file and fix it from the file or fix it from this area here. Once that's done, select validate all, and then you'd be able to actually save. So that's the second way of actually adding in your clients into the system. Once you've added your clients, go into the contact section, and you've got, two options for your contacts. Either add in your contacts individually by clicking new contact, select the contact type, whether they're the client themselves, lead, supplier, staff, accountant, and partner, and so on. Add in their details, and then go ahead and click save. To bulk import your contacts, very similar structure. You will have a CSV template, which you download. Use a data validation sheet to validate the data. Add it back into the same sheet, and then upload it back into the system. Let's assume we've added all of your clients, you've added all of your contacts. It's important to go back into clients and then link your clients to each contact. So to link a client to a contact, click Add Contact Link. Select the contact from the drop-down list. All the data will automatically appear here. And then select the contact type. And then click Save. So you can have several contacts for each client. It is important, however, to make one of the contacts a default contact. And that's all you need to do to add in your clients and contacts. Next step would be to add in your users. So you have 4 user types. You've got the super accountant, you have the accountant user, the staff user, and the client user. They all have different permissions and settings. To add your users, you have 2 options. Either bulk import your users, again, using a CSV template. These are the fields that you have to fill in. Click Next, and then you'll be able to actually save your users. The second way to add in your users is to add in the users individually. So go ahead and click New User. Select the user type. So you've got 3 options here: accountant, staff, and client. Select the user from the contact drop-down list here. Add in their passwords, and then go ahead and click Save. Now, what's the difference between the 4 users? The first user is a super accountant, which I presume would be you. You have access to all the data. You have control to all the permission settings and so on. The second user is the accountant user. If I go ahead and open an accountant user that I previously created under the actions area here, so you'll be able to view the user's contact details. You can change their passwords here as well. Now, for the accountant user, they have access to all of the modules that you have purchased, but you can decide the clients that they have access to. Here, you can also auto-assign clients as well. The third user is the staff user. So similar structure to the accountant user. You have the user's details here. But the only difference here is that in the staff user, you can decide the modules that they have access to. And within bookkeeping, you don't have to give them access to all of the areas. You can choose which areas they can have access to. And lastly, we have the client user. So back into Actions, Edit. You'll have the user's details. The difference here is that they'd only have access to bookkeeping and payroll. And again, within bookkeeping, you can decide which areas they've got access to. For the client user, you can also give them access to several companies, clients from the list here as well. So that's you setting up your clients, your contacts, and your users. Next thing for you to do is for you to actually sign up to verify, for you to do AML checks in KPM. Now, my screen looks slightly different because I've already signed up to verify. You should have a registration page on your screens. So once you've clicked onto that link, it will take you to the verify page. You sign up from there. Once that's done, it's confirmed by the verify team. Then you can then perform your checks. So there's 4 checks that you can perform here. You can perform AML checks, which are currently £3 plus VAT, credit checks, which are £2 plus VAT, international ID checks, which are £2 plus VAT, and company checks, which are currently £6 plus VAT. In the MyAdmin section, you can also request backup data from your clients. So click request there. Add a description, either select all clients or select the data for a particular client, and select the clients from the drop-down list here. Lastly, in the MyAdmin section, you can see what you have subscribed to. So this is where you'll be able to manage your subscription. You'll be able to view all the modules that you've purchased, as well as be able to purchase new modules altogether, as well as any add-ons, such as KPM Hub, bank fees can all be purchased from here. You can choose whether to make the purchases monthly, quarterly, or annually. Here, you'll be able to view your billing history, payment methods, as well as all of your invoices. So yeah, this is pretty much everything that you'd need to get started with KPM.
So I just wanted to open up and ask for if people have any questions. But Cal, if you could continue to share your screen, I just wanted to give some clarity for everybody on a few elements there. In terms of what Cal has walked us through, these were the elements which you need to set up. I'll sort of like talk about the whys here for a second. So the My Firm details are picked up in every submission that you make. So that's why making the changes here are quite crucial. Next, the aging credentials. So if you scroll down there as well, the logo that you upload in here can be picked up in the accounts production module later if you want your logo on the accounts you submit, or in other reports as you go along. So having this up to date would update your details in the accounts production module and corp tax and any other submissions that you're making through the system. Now, the next bit, which is the agent credentials, those are, again, across the modules, you might use a set of credentials for across your practice. However, there might be some practices which have set credentials for PAYE, different credentials for corp tax, and different for self-assessment. We have also seen that people have 2 sets of credentials, especially after the MTD VAT. So any of those credentials, once updated here, would be picked up again in every single submission that you make. Now, in terms of users, there is also a few things that we just wanted to go over in users. One of the things there is the super accountant and the differences between these user types. I'm not sure if that was covered, Cal, but accountant users can see every single module for a restricted amount of clients. Staff users can be restricted for both the module access as well as the client access. And super accountants can see everything in every single module. As we go along into our newer modules, you'd see that we've expanded upon that functionality. So if you look into our 5.0 modules, whether that be bookkeeping, the time and fees, or the charity module, or any of the other newer modules that will be released, all of them will come with some enhanced functionality where we are essentially giving users a lot more control over the user types and what that user does in their organization. We also had a question from James about multiple addresses and a few other things which were changed in the client settings. I just want to cover that as well. So we've made several changes in the client upload recently. These included secondary email addresses. Previously in KPM, we used to restrict people from having same email addresses. The restrictions have been removed and several addresses have been added. So you can add 3 addresses as compared to 1 in the past. So what you'll notice here is that when you're adding clients one at a time, you can do this right now. However, if you're adding clients in bulk, there would only be the registered office address there. We are making a change there shortly, by which once the enhancement goes live, you will be able to do exactly the same fields in both bulk upload as well as the individual uploads.
Surya, sorry to interrupt. Your mic isn't clear.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I hope this is a bit better now.
Yes, much better.
Sorry. It's. I think I need to be quite close to it in order for it to pick it up. Sorry. Right. So, besides that, we can. Are there any questions from anyone else? Have you all finished this stage of your migration, or are you stuck at any particular point? And based on that, we can you can schedule your one-on-one sessions with your account managers. But what I'll do next is I'll run through the polls again and launch a poll for the amount of users you want to set up and the AML processes. So let's begin with those. I think we have in the chat something. Right. So for us, we are essentially breaking these webinars up for module-specific events. So what we'll be doing again is on Thursday we are doing a webinar on practice management end-to-end, where we will cover every single thing about that module, so from setup all the way till having the deadlines and using the automation functions and everything. So we will be covering that on Thursday this week. So if in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll ask a member of our team to reach out to you. So we will try and help you with that on our one-on-one session. So Chandni, could you just take a note of that and we will reach back to us after this?
Yeah, sure.
Brilliant. All right then. So we'll leave the floor open for questions. MyAdmin is one of the setup elements, so I hope everybody got to ask the questions we've covered today. We'll be sending out these recordings to everybody as well. So if you have any further queries afterwards, you could reach out to your account managers directly, and they'll be able to resolve any of those queries on a one-on-one session. We'll make the mics open now. So if you have any questions, you can ask. However, we'll stop the recording from here, so it would sort of a conversation going forwards to the people who are here right now. So, Mimi, can we stop recording for this and enable everyone's mics? So if there are any questions, you can just ask those